welcome to Epic Geek Out, the only show on the internet where Abraham Lincoln teams up with Buffy to create the ultimate vampire hunting squad. I'm your host, Rob.
And I'm your host, Chad, and today we're talking about the new film that just came out, based on the book, Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter.
And on Thursday, we're going to be reviewing the new Aaron Sorkin written show for HBO, The Newsroom.
Cool. So, as always, real quick, we want you to find us on Twitter, at Epic Geek Out. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's really helpful for you and for us.
We appreciate that. We have a Facebook page. You can like our Facebook page, and feedback is what makes the show better. So please shoot us an email at fans@epicgeekout.com and check out the website, www.epicgeekout.com.
Yeah, cool. So let's get into the movie review.
So today we're going to review Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. Hell of a title for a movie.
Sounds crazy.
It was originally a book written by Seth Grahame-Smith, who also wrote the screenplay. So I was really interested. There's a lot of changes from the book to the movie, which I've never seen a writer do both and change it up so much. But it stars Benjamin Walker, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Dominic Cooper, and a couple other people. The movie is kind of an alternate reality where Lincoln's mom was killed by a vampire rather, and he swears revenge to get them. All the vampires are down south, really using slaves as food, and that's why they have to keep slavery intact. It's a different take on a lot of
historical events. Yeah.
So certainly an interesting movie. But Chad, so what do you think?
I mostly enjoyed it as a whole. I had a lot of problems with some of the things, which I'll get into. But
and one other thing, it's directed by the guy who did Wanted, which you can see a lot of different, a lot of similarities, same style. But
right.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. What was I saying?
A lot of problems.
Yeah, a lot of problems. But as a chunk of a movie, like just watching start to finish, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the ride. Seeing Abraham Lincoln in his full beard and get up, just kicking the shit out of vampires is a pretty awesome sight to see.
Again, the crap kicked out of him by vampires.
Yeah, I mean, it's towards the end of the film when he is older and the typical look of Abraham Lincoln. I mean, there's not much better than that sight. But as a film itself, a lot of weak points. Mainly, I had the biggest problem with Mary Elizabeth Winstead, or whatever her name is.
I love her, though.
She is great, but I just felt like her character was really flat. I didn't think her performance was very good at all. It just, I don't know, it just didn't jive with the rest of the movie.
And he bolstered her character up a lot and gave her more, more of moments
a role
than in the book.
Yeah, and I mean, juxtaposed to Benjamin Walker, is that his name? He gave a great performance. Yeah, so, I mean, it felt a little off and didn't really mesh well. The CG was bad at parts, especially they had a scene where there was a bunch of horses. He was chasing a vampire through the stampede, if you will. It was just crappy and lazy, and you could tell that they thought the same thing because they colored it really weird it was kind of dusk, so the sun was going down. So it was like all weird looking, and then they had dust that was getting kicked up by the horses. So they tried to mask it, but you could tell that that's what they were doing. So didn't really enjoy that part of it. Also, I like the action-y style where it goes into the slow-mo, but towards the end, it just got a little too much. Like I think they did one too many of those quick cuts, just because it was cool, but overused. And I mean, they would have done a little bit less of that. I think it would have been benefited from that. But like I said, overall, generally good. I did not read the book. You did. So, I enjoyed the story for the most part. I like how they tied in historical events into and kind of took their take on how this could be a feasibly how this could, if vampires existed, be what happened.
Sure.
So that was a neat take on it. I think anyone that didn't know this was a book, I talked to some people that were like, what the heck is this movie? I can't believe they're coming out with it. It definitely seems like a movie that isn't as serious as it is, but I think it is a serious movie in all sense.
Yeah, they didn't go into it like...
It's not campy, it's not...
No, they didn't.
It's like, it actually takes events and puts. I mean, it commits to its premise. So for that, I guess I respect it.
Commits.
But
I mean.
yeah, overall, I thought it was enjoyable. I don't know that I would recommend it to everybody because I think it is a geek type of movie. But overall, generally good for me.
Yeah. So, if you're turned off by the title of Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter and you don't find any humor in it, I mean, it's not going to be. I mean, I don't think this is. First off, let's say it's not a rush out and go see kind of movie. It has its moments where you kind of forget it's supposed to be Abraham Lincoln, and it's this dude twirling an axe pretty awesomely, and some cool action scenes. The characters really suffered. His two friends in it, they really never gave them enough screen time or
there's some weird
gave
choices
enough
with that,
importance. It centered around Lincoln himself. The brother and sister vampire bad guys, like she was supposed to be this like ultra killing henchman, like crazy thing, but they didn't even give her, I don't think, that or much, really even him, like the necessary means for you to hate her, or like. So it certainly had its flaws. The book I would recommend if this is something that you like the idea of. I'd recommend reading the book. I think it was a much better outlet. It told the story a lot better. So I would recommend the book way over the movie. Because I think the book was much more grounded in reality than the movie was, and the movie was constrained with time. I mean, it had to go through his whole life, show why he did this. But on the other hand, there were some cool action scenes. I chuckled at the concept of it, and seeing it actually on film was okay. I mean, I wouldn't go recommend it to anyone, even though I didn't leave pissed or disappointed or anything like that. So, do I wish I rented it from Redbox, 6 months from now? Probably. It would have, it's definitely more of like that kind of movie where it would have been cooler to watch with a group of friends in, your living room, so you could be like, oh shit, rewind that one part or something cool like that. I think they lost a lot of different opportunities. He was wielding the axe, and like his training wasn't good. There was
a lot of parts were rushed,
mediocre,
especially
and
in the middle half, and I felt like it was rushed, but then there were parts that were really slow and unnecessary for.
And he was like, "Oh, I didn't do good with shooting, so I'm gonna use an axe." Well, you should carry a couple guns with you too. I mean, like, why not? And
especially once you get skilled if you can get skilled at doing that crazy stuff with an axe, I'm sure they can teach you how to use it.
How to shoot, just
and
straight.
not drop.
And
the
also,
bullet.
he didn't have a silver bullet the first time. He did shoot the guy right in the eye the first time, but didn't have a silver bullet. So, I'm conflicted. I can't say I recommend this movie, but I did enjoy parts of it. I think, with this summer, there's a lot of other movies you can go out and see that would, be better than this. But if you like the concept, give it a shot. I mean, why not? If
this concept sounds cool, I mean, it delivers on that.
And certainly don't go in with high expectations, because you will be sorely disappointed. But I did enjoy Wanted, so I wanted to see how it translated to this, and so that's.
I wasn't a fan of Wanted, but I definitely, I don't know if I
definitely don't want it up
this.
too much for you though.
But I mean, it's like you said, it's definitely it delivers on the premise, and that's the biggest thing. So if that sounds like something that you think would look cool in a movie, it's exactly what it is.
It is exactly.
It's Abraham Lincoln kicking the shit out of vampires. Parts, of history in there. So if you're a history buff too, it's kind of cool just to see how they give that take on it. So.
Well, there's like three. Well,
there's holes. Yes.
Yeah, there's so many holes. I mean, I was just thinking of different historical figures that they added to the movie.
No, and you definitely said the ending
laughable.
Was definitely not in the book, right?
I don't believe it was the same.
So, I mean, it is different enough. So if you have read the book. It's good enough to see, because it's different. So, and vice versa, if you've seen the movie and you enjoyed it, reading the book would probably be a good idea too, because it's different. And it's different enough to warrant that.
It's certainly, it's not different. And there are his debates between Douglas, the Lincoln Douglas debates, the famous debates at that, and things like that. And so, it just is. It kind of just exists. It is exactly what
Fun.
the
I thought it
title
was fun
says.
for the
Yeah,
most part,
well, that's
but-
good. You're a little more positive than I am, but I mean,
Yeah.
it was just that. So
Cool.
you know.
Check it out if you think it sounds awesome, because I thought it was. Well, that's all for another episode of Epic Geek Out. Thanks for tuning in. But before we let you go for the day, we'd like to give our thanks at the end of the show for geek things that we're interested in. So, Rob, what is your thanks today?
My thanks today is the little show that turned into a little movie, but I know fans want so much more than what they had. I am now, and feel free to hate me for this, but I am now just watching for the first time Firefly. And I'm 4 episodes in. I did see Serenity before,
Right.
enjoyed
Awesome.
it.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
like
one of
that.
those things that I always knew I would like. Kinda didn't want to pick it up because I know I'm gonna be sad when I know it's over and not coming back. But I figured it fills a little void that Battlestar left in my heart after, and I can, it's one season, so it's, again, Netflix is great for catching up on old TV shows. So, it's great. They're like 40 minutes of commercials. You just watch it, and, it is Joss Whedon being Joss Whedon, who,
Being awesome.
again, gets much respect from me. So, Chad, what are you thankful for today?
I'm gonna, in the vein of our episode today, I'm gonna thank a book that I just started reading, and you are gonna.
Presidents.
Thank you,
Okay.
George W. Bush. Yeah, so the book that I just started reading is called Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. Awesome book. Actually, Rob sort of indirectly led me to the book through a contest that the author's running to win a DeLorean, which, if you know me,
Would
I love
be
Back
awesome.
to the Future, so that was awesome. But then I sought out the book, which I guess his contest is working to sell book copies, because that's why I
Because it's
sought it
now
out.
being re-released in paperback, right?
Right.
It's written
So-
by Ernest Cline.
Ernest Cline, yep. So it's basically, the long and short of the book is it exists in the future, where they create this virtual reality world called Oasis that you can go into, and basically what you would think of a virtual reality world, but they also, throw in
I'm so excited.
everything. Like, you have
to.
to, you could go to, the people go to school there now, and you have avatars, basically like an MMO. Like, there's even Azeroth from World of Warcraft exists in this world somewhere. All the Star Wars universe, Star Trek universe, but it's chock full of 80s and 90s references, which is awesome. Like,
And I
at
how
least
they
every
explained
page
also
has
why.
that.
I read like 3 pages of it. Why it's 80s and 90s references, because the guy, the
Right, he
eccentric
was from
billionaire,
there, yes.
loved that time period and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, so, and then there's this contest, the guy dies, he's leaving his fortune, so there's clues throughout the world, no one's found the clues for years, and now this 18-year-old kid stumbles upon the first clue, and the rest of the story happens. I've not finished it yet, but it is awesome. I know I'm going to love it.
It's like a kind of a Willy Wonka if he was in a video game
Yeah, and
world.
the tone of it reminds me of Ender's Game, which you really like, so I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah,
but check
I'm
it out. It's definitely, if you're watching the show, it's in your vein, right up your alley, with all the geek things. So I hope that it could turn into like it'd be cool if it turned into like a series. I think,
Yeah, I
but
think
don't
this
know.
would be good as a series, because I would want to see so many of the references.
Yeah.
And not. I mean, a
Right,
movie would
right,
be
right.
cool too, but.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited. to
Yeah,
start
it's a
reading
really
it,
good book. So check that out. We'll be back Thursday with another episode. We're going to talk about the newsroom. We're both very excited to see that.
Pumped.
So make sure you check back then. But thanks for watching this episode of Epic Geek Out.